Today we're going to consider this interesting question. Hi Olumide, my name is Bimpe. I'm in my second year at university, but I feel like school isn't working for me. I don't enjoy my course anymore, and it feels like a waste of time and money. I've been thinking about dropping out to focus on building a small business idea that I've been working on. Do you think I should drop out of school? It's an interesting question. Should you drop out of the university? We're going to answer that question in this video. Let me start with a disclaimer. I want you to watch the complete video before you make a decision. Don't pick a line from what I said and say, Olumide said it's okay to do so and so. Okay? I need you to watch everything because you need to have the full and balanced perspective. Let's get right into it. Before we talk about dropping out of the university or some form of higher education program, we should look at what school actually offers. First of all, it offers you a chance to get structured learning. School generally is built around the idea of giving you a systematic approach to getting knowledge step by step. So you pick a discipline, you learn within that discipline, and you learn a lot of things that are related to it, and you build on that knowledge step by step. That's the idea of the university. Secondly, school offers you networking opportunities. This is something that is often overlooked because many people are thinking only about grades and passing and getting a certificate. But really, the school environment offers you solid networking opportunities. You get to meet classmates who might later become collaborators, can become employers or employees, and can even become business partners. So you meet classmates, you meet professors, you meet alumni, you meet different people who come on campus for one reason or the other. And then, of course, school offers recognition and credibility. Having a university degree is like a global passport. It is recognized everywhere, or at least it opens doors everywhere. It's like a stepping stone that you can easily climb on and you can use to move to some other level anywhere in the world. In many industries, the university degree is your entry passport. Of course, there are deviations to that. Tech, for example, is becoming more and more reliant on skills and stuff like that. But even in those industries, being able to show proof of university education can still be a very good idea. And then school offers you a backup plan, just in case your business doesn't work out. And trust me, most businesses don't work out. There are different statistics about this, but depending on the country, the possibility of your business not working out might be as high as 90%. So imagine that there is a 9 out of 10 chance that that business idea that you're so passionate about will not work out. It's a good idea to have a backup plan. And school offers you that. You would still have a credential that can get you a job and get you some form of sustenance while you're thinking of what to do to maybe get back into business. Lastly, school offers personal growth. School gives an opportunity to grow, to meet people, to broaden your knowledge, broaden your mind, have exposure to different cultures and stuff like that. So it's a place for personal growth. Now we've looked at the advantages of going to school, but I would agree with you that there are situations in which dropping out might seem like a better alternative. I'm sure that you can think of examples like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, who dropped out of school, dropped out of Harvard, the school that most people would do anything to get into. And they dropped out of that school at different times to start companies. Bill Gates co-founded Microsoft and Mark Zuckerberg co-founded Facebook. So those are examples of people that have done well without the traditional university degree. Although I should mention that they went back to school, okay? I know for sure that Mark Zuckerberg eventually earned that degree. So that's something to bear in mind, but it would be a fair argument to say that he first dropped out and he was able to spend time building his business. So, when does dropping out of school make sense? First of all, it might make sense in a situation where the alternative path is already clearly defined. Look at the example that I gave earlier about Mark Zuckerberg dropping out of school. You see, he didn't drop out when he just had an idea. He dropped out at a point where the idea had shown some form of traction. He could see that people were already in love with it and that the adoption was likely to be very high. So there was some form of traction already before dropping out of school. So Bimpe, if your business idea is already making money and it is showing a lot of promise, backed by real income, real cash, then you might be able to say that you have a clear alternative path. Secondly, it might make sense to drop out of school if there's a mismatch with your goals. You see, sometimes we get into programs that are not really meant for us. And by the time we're in it, we're wondering, what am I doing here? Why is everything so difficult and strange? And you know that you're struggling, you know that it is simply not meant for you. That might be a reason to drop out. I should say though, that you see sometimes with life, sometimes just persevering a little might solve a lot of problems. There are times when what you really need is to stay longer, and when you do so, it's going to make sense eventually. So it's not everything that is going to be smooth at first. Sometimes you need to stay on long enough to know if it is meant for you. Number three, dropping out of school might make sense if it is leading to financial struggles. Sometimes being in school means getting into debt and there's no clear way out of debt, and you can't really see the returns. So for some people, that might be a call to drop out. They might feel like, okay, the financial pressure is too much. They would maybe get back to it at some other time, but for now, it is time to drop out. That, in my opinion, is a valid reason. Although, like I said, make sure that you watch the video to the end before you make any decision. Number four, it is possible that you are someone who learns in a different way. The nature of school might be too rigid, maybe too theoretical for you, and you might just want a different way of learning. So in such a situation, dropping out of school might be a good idea. Although again, I should say that you must watch to the end before you actually make a decision. And finally, it just might be that the business is presenting a unique opportunity. You see, there are certain things that simply must be done at the time that those things should be done. For example, if Bill Gates had not seized the opportunity to fully launch Microsoft at the time he did, someone else would have taken that idea and would have launched it, and he would have missed the moment. There are certain things that you simply must do at the time when those things should be done. If it is something like that, it might make sense to quit school and face it. Now that we've looked at some possibly valid reasons for Bimpe to drop out of school, we should also consider the risks. What are the problems she might face by dropping out? First, she might have fewer options later in life. You see, like I established earlier, having a degree can give credibility and a credential that can open doors around the world. When you don't have that, it means that you simply don't have that option. So that foundation, that credibility, you need to wait. Do you really want to lose that? Secondly, there's a perception problem. There's simply a negative perception around not finishing school or not having a degree. I agree, it's an unfair perception, but it exists. And we live in a real world. You need to be prepared for that possibility. Some industries will close their doors to you. And sometimes, when it might matter, you might see people pointing to the fact that you don't have a degree. This can be especially worse depending on the country. If you're in Nigeria or some other part of Africa, the perception is that you should have a degree. Having a degree is seen as the bare minimum. So when you don't have that, there's a way that some people might talk down on you. You should also consider the financial reality. Statistically speaking, graduates earn better than non graduates. However, let me point out that statistics is often about the broad picture, considering the large pool of people involved. On an individual basis, there are many people who do not have degrees and who earn much more than people who have degrees. So you should consider that as well. And then dropping out of school means that you're missing out on the possible networks that school might offer. Getting those networks might prove to be very difficult later on. Finally, when you drop out of school, it becomes much more difficult to return to it. Why? Because life moves on. You're going to have bills to pay. You would have a family to run or to take care of. And so with each passing day, it becomes more difficult to go back to school. You should consider that. So we've looked at the pros and the cons, but what do I really think? What is my advice? First of all, I would say that if you feel like you can't continue and you truly cannot continue, you should start by considering switching your program. It is possible that you're getting frustrated on your current program because that program is not meant for you. But if you explore a different program, a different course, you might fall in love with that and you might actually find yourself enjoying that. So consider trying a different program. Secondly, if trying a different program doesn't work, you should consider taking a break. So you can take a gap year as against dropping out completely. If you take a break, you would still be able to go back to your learning maybe after 1 year. That break would have afforded you the opportunity to try your hands on your business, to settle whatever might be disturbing you, to put yourself in a place where you're able to go back to school. Every school has mechanisms by which you can take academic breaks. So consider going to your school and applying to take such a break as against dropping out completely. Next, depending on your business idea, you might be able to build the business while still in school. This implies that you would be in school, you're learning, you're continuing your study towards your degree, but you're also working on your business. I am saying that from experience. I started building my business as an undergraduate and I was able to run it throughout my time of study in school, even though I was a full-time student. That obviously will not work for everybody, but it is an option to consider. My final advice would be that if you know that you absolutely must quit school, it is simply not working, or it is too expensive or too time consuming and you're not enjoying it, you absolutely must leave. If you know that that is your situation, you should consider options that still allow you to get a degree without having to pay the full attention to it like you would do with traditional schooling. I've made a video before about the National Open University of Nigeria, and I believe that that video would apply for many open universities in the country and outside the country as well. In today's world, there are many open universities that you can consider. They are relatively flexible and you can work and school at the same time. Also, there are programs that can be very helpful. For example, at TWIM Institute, we partner with UK-based awarding bodies to offer UK government-recognized diplomas. And those diplomas can be done from wherever you are. They are also very flexible. They do not consume as much time as traditional schooling would take. But the best part of it is they are well recognized, and you can also do top-ups after earning your diploma, meaning that once you're done with the diploma which you completed online, you'd be able to top it up to an actual university degree within a relatively short amount of time. So this offers you an alternative pathway to traditional education, but you still end up with the credibility and the openings that well-recognized school credentials can offer. If you'd like to find out more about it, head over to globalquals.com, or you can send us a message via WhatsApp. The number is on the screen. It's also in the description. So head over to that website and send us a message. We would be happy to provide further directions and to help you take advantage of those alternative opportunities to traditional schooling. So, my name is Olumide Adele, and I hope that this has been value for your time. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, click on the subscribe button. Do so right away. I hope to see you in my very next video. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.